to another episode of Case Law, stories to relax and fall asleep to. Tonight, we travel to 19th century England, a time of coal, gears, and industry, but also of broken promises. Our story begins with a broken crankshaft and ends with a rule of law that would shape contract damages for generations. Importantly, this is the story of Hadley v. Baxendale. So settle in, get cozy, and let your mind drift to the year 1854. Our location, the bustling city of Gloucester. There, a man named Hadley owned and operated a flour mill. It was a modest enterprise, but it fed families and supported a life. One morning, disaster struck. The mill's crankshaft, a vital iron piece that powered the mill, cracked. The entire mill ground to a halt. Time was money. Hadley acted quickly. He hired a company to make a new shaft, but to do that, he needed to send the broken one to the manufacturer as a model. He turned to a delivery firm, Pickfords & Co., and dealt with one of their employees, Baxendale. Hadley paid for express delivery. He stressed the urgency, but he did not say that his entire business was shut down, waiting for that very shaft. Baxendale accepted the job, promised delivery by a specific day, but the shipment was delayed. The new shaft arrived late, and Hadley's mill sat still for days longer. He sued for lost profits. The question before the court: should Hadley be compensated for the money he lost during the delay? Was Baxendale responsible for damages he couldn't have predicted? The court, led by Baron Alderson, delivered an opinion that would become a pillar of contract law. He said,
"Damages must fairly and reasonably be considered either arising naturally from the breach of contract itself, or such as may reasonably be supposed to have been in the contemplation of both parties at the time they made the contract."
In other words, a breaching party is only liable for losses that are foreseeable at the time the contract was formed. Because Hadley never told Baxendale that his mill was stopped and that a delay would mean lost business, those losses weren't foreseeable. And so, no damages for lost profits. Hadley won, in theory, but he did not recover the damages he had hoped for. Let this rule settle into your mind. In contract law, we don't punish people for what they couldn't have known. The law asks what should have been expected, what was within the scope of risk both parties agreed to. The Hadley rule still guides us today. It reminds us that communication matters, that the losses we hide cannot always be recovered, that the best contracts are the clearest ones. Rain softens, a train passes gently in the distance. So as you drift toward sleep, think of the miller, the shaft, and the man who carried it, and the rule that arose from their miscommunication, that changed how we think about consequences and fairness. This has been Hadley v. Baxendale, a quiet rule from the age of steam, still echoing into the future. Good night, and thank you for listening to case law stories to relax and fall asleep to. We'll see you again very soon.